let's say, this may sound funny because I'm not a guru, I'm not a master, I'm not a spiritual teacher, but let's say a guru, a spiritual teacher, and a master. Well, I'll just put it together and they'll say master, and sometimes I'll say guru. I won't say teacher because we all teach each other stuff. So we'll say a guru makes mistakes too. People might think that if someone's a spiritual guru or if they're a master, they're like, they've got the greatest balance and most coordinated movements at all times. You know, if they want to sit and they want to impress people, sure. If they want to be one with what livingness is, not at all. They live, they move, they walk, they talk, they make mistakes. Okay? So when I say stuff about how Sadhguru is a great, great being, an enlightened master, no. He's met some, but he's not an enlightened master. The enlightened master can show people everything. People don't want to see what everything means because they think everything means, well, I want to know what these people were doing on this day at that time. Well, if you want the details, you can sit and you can find it in your mind. But if you start realizing how the Akashic records work and everything before that was ever invented in word really works, you realize that doesn't mean jack shit to your personal existence to wonder about what somebody did in Cleopatra's day. And why would that make any sense to worry about? It doesn't. It's just your fascination, and you can't get over your fascination because it's fascinating you to something, taking you away from what you should be working on. That's what fascination means. And it doesn't also mean, it can also be, it's a thing that fastens you that you should be working on. But in those cases, when you're thinking about history, it's definitely taking you away from what you should be working on. Maybe see if it's in your mind and it's pulling you to it, then strongly watch it and see what it means to you. But don't take those dates and times into thought. That's the issue. People think we got to be like they were back then. Back then is right now when you're learning about it right now. Like the possibility of the future is then when you think about it now. So you've got to get that through your head that that's really what's happening. You're a big combination of feelings. So you may feel this way one day and then move towards it till it gets here. You got to feel your way towards it and move to it till it gets here. That's all it really is. And it's not your body that you're moving. It's your constant thought. You keep your train on the train track of that thought. And you go that way. And you follow that train up and down through all the hills, little engine that could. You know, you do that. You keep it on the right train of thought and on the right track. Those words mean something in a metaphysical sense. You're your train. You're your brain train. And you're taking it to somewhere else. And that train is other people's life, other people's worlds, other people's issues, other people's problems, if that's what you want it to be. But if you want that train to be what we all are, and that train that takes you to that heavenly place, then you follow it with your heart. You don't follow it with somebody else's guidance. You don't have some other engineer running your train. So, a guru and a master may make mistakes. Like I tried to do this speech about the numbers and the letters, how they form pyramid, and how the whole 1 through 4 density works, and how that spins back out into 5. And then it spins back out into 6, 7, 8, 9, back into 9, which is 10. And then back into itself again, and it just goes back and forth, and it's a fluctuation. And I can see the fluctuation, how the cosmos invented themselves. And I can see it on a giant scale, which includes like every billion, jillion, gagillion number that we say, and all the stars. All those billions and jillions of stars that are out there. It contains that in one of its ripples. In one. And that's happening. And it's really happening, but people don't want to see it because they want to be fascinated by the stories. And they want to look out and see bunches of stars and dots in a big black pond. They want to look at a big black pond with a bunch of light fish that are stars and not realize that we're the meeting of all those stars and dark. Like we're the meeting of the lightest light and the darkest dark and the brightest spirit and the coldest soul and the biggest demon and the greatest angel. We're the mix between all those things. And if you don't think so, then what is your brain thinking right now when I say those words? You are a mass that is in control of a mass. You are a mass of energy that is control of a mass of physical body. And if you once you see the separation of those two, you see the third dimension comes into play, which you are the thinking operation of that energy and body. And then you see the fourth dimension you come into place. At the same time, it can be the 0 dimension, because this is the 0 dimension without any of those three. And with those three that we already just mentioned, the fourth dimension comes into time and space, so it can move. So 4 and 5 come together, just like 9 does. And then 9 breaks back off into 1 and 0, which breaks off into 10. And then you add one more on the other side of that O. And that O now has 11 with something in the center, which is the 0, the 10, the J, the T. They expand. Like, these things aren't hard, but you just can't see it until you actually try to. So someone can explain it to you and be like, well, he's really cool and really fascinating. He gets really emotional in the stuff he's talking about. And if you really understood that that's just the body that's being used by the spirit, by the mental mind of infinite intelligence, trying to teach people what we're doing. But they keep looking at it like the body, thinking that it's either fascinating or not fascinating, because they're using their mind or their personal spot to analyze it. And they're not opening their heart and their true spiritual mind and their true conscious mind to see that this is them speaking all the time. So all they need to do is ask a question, open up their heart, and listen for the right answer. Because if it's not the answer they want, they'll think that it's not what I want, and I won't do it. But if it's the answer that's true, they're still going to have to go through that secondary thing of, oh man, he's right, but damn it, I'm not going to admit that. And then there's the third, which comes into, he's right, I've got to admit it, and it'll make me happier. And then there's the fourth, time and space, that does it. And you move through the doorway from thought concept into expressed definition. That's how it works. So that's all I'm going to say for this time. Peace.